Well, I'm oot and a boot. Sometimes the equation just won't let me take the bus because I need my walking to be, a dotted line. The dots being my footsteps. Not a perfectly straight dotted line. I just deposited my magic lightning bolt at the corner of 39th and Warwick, which is just barely downtown. Along the way, I need to put some quarters on the various fire hydrants along the path.
Excuse me.
Oh.
Sorry.
The very moment I started trying to make a video, some loud fireworks went off over there. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't make one. But I got this long walk, just give you a look into the Lord life. It's kind of hot, but I actually feel really good. Maybe it's because I'm relatively healthy. Or maybe it's because work is so much fucking hotter that now even like 85, 90 degrees, I'm like, whatever, at least it's not 100. Had to get some Evian. One moment. You want to hear something kind of fucked up? This Evian is supposed to be from France. But I can taste the locational ontology of water. And so guess where it's from? Is it from Chattanooga, Ray? It's not quite that egregious. It's from somewhere in Belgium. Which, that's close to France. They sound like French people. But it's not France. See, source, Cachet Spring, product of France. Okay, that's how they get away with it. It's a product of France. It doesn't specifically say it's from France. I just need some foreign water from across the ocean. It could be England, it could be Germany. It doesn't specifically have to be France, but what if it did? Then I'd be buying this water thinking it's from France, drinking it, fucking up my whole equation. I guess what I'm really saying is everything is a fucking lie. Don't trust anything. Now, any reasonable person would say, Ray, you're so desperately poor. How can you spend money on fancy international waters? Well, I just have to. As I mentioned, drinking foreign water, it partially uncouples me from the local hydrological ontology. So I put the lightning bolt on the fire hydrant. This is another one of those explanations where I don't really explain anything, because it's just... I know it. But putting it into words is pretty difficult. I guess one way to put it is the entire thing is one giant ontological circuit. And I have tons of these circuits going through me. And as long as I'm completely coupled to the local hydrological ontology, it's easy for certain circuits to go through me. But because they always seek their least energy state, I uncouple myself a little. It increases the resistance along those pathways. And then the universe, to restore its least energy state, forges new pathways. I'm still not really explaining it that way. Oh well. Mysterious ways. You might notice that the word Evian is the word naive spelled backwards. Presumably because you are naive if you think that shit actually comes from France. It's funny how there's certain places that are more important to the equation than others. Among these are Kansas City, where I live. So fucking loud along this road. Then there's also France, the entire country, but also Lyon. Did I ever mention that I did some god shit while I was there doing that French girl shit? I probably just focused on the French girl shit, but of course, I did some god shit. Both times. The French girl, she's like, what are you doing with those random objects, Ray? And I'm like, oh, don't you worry your pretty head about that. Then there's Pennsylvania. I don't know why Pennsylvania is so goddamn important, but it is. That's why I've been there twice. That's why I lived there twice. But I don't have any further business in Pennsylvania. Hey, look at this. What's this? What even is that? It looks like the Chinese symbol for big, only it doesn't have the little cross thing on the top. Maybe another reason I was thinking about the French girl is just lately I've been harnessing the power of her autoimmune disease. She has some kind of autoimmune disease. I don't really know or care which one, but I did have her draw some magic symbols on herself, and remember, God stuff works outside of time, so it doesn't matter that it was a long time ago. But anyway, I'm channeling that autoimmune ontology to get the universe to attack its own sin and essentially reject itself, bifurcating it into a good and bad version. So, that whole experience didn't go to waste. Although, she drew the symbols on herself before I flew to France, so I could have probably gotten around it. Wait, no, I had to do the God shit in France. So, she's just going to be suddenly getting better. Be like, oh, my autoimmune disease, whatever it is, isn't flaring up as much. Yippee. But to be clear, I'm not doing it out of kindness. I just need that shit to get the universe to attack itself. Ray, isn't the universe already attacking itself? Well, yeah, it is. But it could always do it a little more. I need the universe to break up with itself. By the way, if you haven't repented your sin, it's just not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun when me and all the goodness is gone. Actually, it might be fun in some places. It's kind of a sick, malicious fun. You want to hear something kind of funny? The Mormons think that Jesus is from Jackson County, Missouri. Well, first, my name isn't Jesus. Second, I'm not from Jackson County, Missouri. I just do most of my work here. The Mormons have the most humdrum view of things. In their eyes, what do they call God? Jehovah? No, that's Jehovah's Witnesses. Elohim. He's God, but he's also just a Mormon. It's like he grew up in a Mormon family, living the Mormon way of life. But then he gets his own planet, and so he's the God. And so if you're a good Mormon, you too will get your own planet to be God. And the whole point of it is just Mormons being Mormons, getting their own planet, having some Mormons be Mormons. That is just mind-blowingly tedious. Hey, what do we have here? As I'm walking, I've happened upon a wild exchangeometron. Now I know what you're thinking. Ray, that's just a very poorly drawn happy face. Well, yeah, but it's also an exchangeometron. Now, when I was in France, with that French girl, I didn't have a lot of my God shit. But I had really compact items. Jesus Christ, can there ever not be a fucking car driving by? I had my magic belt, I had a magic glass ring, and I had my magic smartphone, which was just chock full of magic symbols. Really efficient. So I'm just shuffling shit around. She's like, this guy's shuffling a few items around. I was like, well, I specifically needed to do it here in Lyon. What can I say? Just like I had to go to Pennsylvania and live on Buchanan Street. One moment. Hey, look at this. I found another exchangeometron out in the wild. That one's pretty standard. I better see which magic quarter to put there. Alrighty, this ought to make some homeless person very happy. Quarter on exchangeometron. Boom, right between the arrows. Excellent. Here's something kind of funny. When I was at Osawatomie Mental Hospital, there was a guy there who thought he was the president. And... loud shit. Does anybody have a motherfucking muffler? His name was Buchanan, and he thought he was the president, but he did not think that he was President Patrick Buchanan. He just so happened to have the last name Buchanan and also think that he's president, but not President Buchanan. Now me, I didn't really want to leave. There was a psychiatrist I was talking to, but he seemed to be of the opinion that I didn't need to be locked up like a crazy person. And it's like, hey man, I think I'm God. That sounds pretty fucking crazy to me. But I lollygagged because I knew the next step was being homeless, and it's not like it was particularly entertaining. We watch movies sometimes, but it was the same few movies and they all sucked. Like Land of the Lost was okay the first time, or maybe even the second time, but really got boring. It's like, hey, no struggling to survive, no God stuff. Just look forward to the meals and get fatter and fatter, and just kind of relax. Alright, now I'm coming upon a bridge, by which I don't mean jizzing upon a bridge, I mean I'm just arriving. It's not a bridge over water, though. Bridges over water are pretty special for God shit, but this is just a regular bridge. Alrighty, I've reached the other side of the bridge and my lordy sense started to tingle, so I got my mangled quarter, putting it right there. There we go. Really wedge it in there. Still, I'm sure a homeless person will find it. Doing good deeds. It's right near the intersection of Garfield and 39. Just as God intended. In the loony bin, there was this one woman there. I think she was in her late 30s, and she wasn't too violently unattractive, but she always wanted to fuck, and she's like asking me, and I'm like, no. One guy got kicked out of there for fucking her. And I'm like, man, have you seen how she makes wanna fuck gestures at any guy? You notice that shit? So imagine how many STDs she has, man. I mean, so while I'm obviously crazy, I could be crazier, like that guy who fucked the always wanna fuck woman in the loony bin. Alrighty, we've reached another fire hydrant. Nothing too special. This one's a little after Garfield Street, and this one gets a nickel. That nickel doesn't have any magic markings on it, but it doesn't need to. Hey Ray, what do you spend your money on? Oh, I just go around tipping random fire hydrants for doing their job, except they're not random, they're very specific ones, like this one over here. See, is it gonna get a nickel, a quarter? This one gets a penny with a patina, and it doesn't get it on the pentagonal bolt, it gets it on the hexagonal bolt with a triangle. Yeah, when I was in the loony bin, they had me on antipsychotics, and I was on them for a month. But I mean, if they were going to make me stop thinking I'm God, apparently I need to take them for more than a month. They didn't really do much except make me fat. They weigh you, they take your blood pressure, and I notice every time they weigh me, just a couple pounds heavier. And I managed to get extra portions somehow, but, I guess they weren't paying attention because they would have taken back those extra portions when they noticed that I'm just getting fatter and fatter. But it's fine, because I was getting ready to be homeless, and you need a big pile of fat if you're going to be homeless. So, it all worked out. And I'm not fat now, so it's fine. See, here's where the real God work comes in. See this styrofoam plate right here with all the ants on it? There we go. Just needed a slight adjustment. Now you see this little tray right here? Some kind of TV dinner? It does not need an adjustment. That is exactly where it should be. Okay, the last thing was where it should be, but this one just needs to be over a line. See this right here? Perfect. Well, anyway, I've placed enough nickels and quarters and nudged enough detritus around. I finally arrived at Aldi, where I'm gonna get some shit. Y'all have a nice day.